Kamala Harris did accept the nominee that night, and forgive me because I can only play a certain amount of clips, so I have to go in a different place here. But here she is accepting the nomination.
In the courtroom, I stood proudly before a judge, and I said 5 words: Kamala Harris for the people. And to be clear, my entire career, I've only had one client, the people. And so, on behalf of the people, on behalf of every American, regardless of party, race, gender, or the language your grandmother speaks, on behalf of my mother and everyone who has ever set out on their own unlikely journey, on behalf of Americans like the people I grew up with, people who work hard, chase their dreams, and look out for one another, on behalf of everyone whose story could only be written in the greatest nation on earth, I accept your nomination to be President of the United States of America.
Yeah, that looks like a lot of upset people that she is the nominee. They are really pissed off, and they are clearly not having that she is the nominee. Another thing I want to address too, real quick, is what are her policies? What exactly does she plan on doing for the American people? And well, there's a couple things. One is her policies are going to actually be close to and mirror what Joe Biden's policies are. And a lot of these policies and a lot of the things that she plans on paying for things is to continue to raise the corporate tax rate and to raise the taxes on multimillionaires and billionaires. And this is something that a lot of people are calling communism. This is not communism. First of all, this is the right-wing propaganda machine getting people to use this word communism when I don't think a lot of people even really understand what communism is. And they make that more and more clear as they continue to go on, because they are calling Kamala Harris what is it, Kamalism, I don't know, whatever, the other nicknames that they like to make up, but they are suggesting that she is going to be a communist leader, which, by the way, there really is no real communist countries. If you knew the true definition of the word communism, there's really no true communist countries. Nobody's really been able to pull that off the way it's supposed to be. But anyway, but yeah, that's what she plans on doing. She plans on implementing a lot of things for the American people by raising the corporate tax rate and raising the taxes back to a place where it is reasonable to say that, yeah, they should be paying this much in taxes instead of continuing to cut the taxes, which Donald Trump will do. There is a tax cut for the rich that is in place right now that expires in 2025. She will not allow those to renew, which is great news. The tax cuts for the rich that were implemented by the Trump administration has cost this country billions of dollars, and it will continue to cost this country billions of dollars if he allows them to continue. He is also, with his tariff plan, is going to hurt our economy. It's going to cause inflation again. And literally, most economic expert, what were there, 16 economic laureates who came out and said Donald Trump's plan would be terrible economically for this country. Who am I going to listen to? Them or fucking cat turd on Twitter? I mean, come on, guys. Let's stop. I mean, it's okay that you identify with. See, identification is okay in all respects. So if you want to identify as a quote unquote Republican, if you don't like Kamala Harris's personality, or if you don't like Tim Walz's personality, that's fine. But let's stop this nonsense of continuing to make up narratives, or you're not the ones making it up. You have the right-wing propaganda media making it up, and you guys are the ones that are out there regurgitating the nonsense that just is not true. I can ask you a million times based on what you're telling me. Just show me exactly what you're talking about, just like I did with the guns, just like I did with the transgender people. Show me specifically where this is happening, and I'm happy to take this in and look at it with you. But you can't. Nobody can. You can maybe show me a clip of something that you saw on 4chan or 8chan or one of them crazy QAnon sites. That doesn't count. I'm talking about something real where this happens. But anyway, I'm sorry. I get off on tangents, but I just feel like I have to. But anyway, let's get back to Kamala Harris and her acceptance speech. This was something where this is where Kamala is going to be really strong coming up into the election. And this is her resonating with women and about their reproductive rights. And this is what she had to say about women and their reproductive rights. And the way she finished it was fantastic.
Part of his agenda, he and his allies would limit access to birth control, ban medication abortion, and enact a nationwide abortion ban with or without Congress. And get this, he plans to create a national anti-abortion coordinator and force states to report on women's miscarriages and abortions. Simply put, they are out of their minds. And one must ask, why exactly is it that they don't trust women? Well, we trust women. We trust women. And when Congress passes a bill to restore reproductive freedom, as President of the United States, I will proudly sign it into law.
And of course, that goes on for another minute of applause, which well deserved. And you could tell she showed some decorum there when she said, "Are you out of your minds?" Something tells me if she wasn't accepting the nomination for the presidency of the United States, she might have used some more colorful language, which I personally would have loved. But this is where she is. This is one place where she's super, super strong. I mean, she is going to resonate with women. There was a women's movement years and years and years ago, and it just got stronger and stronger and stronger. And if you really, truly think, that women aren't listening to this and women aren't pissed off and women do not like being told what to do and how to do it, mostly by men, I mean, I think you're going to find this election that's going to come to fruition. And there are a lot of people out there, shockingly, who still think that abortion is not an issue on the ballot when pretty much every election since abortion has been on the ballot says otherwise. It is one in, just outrageous fashion everywhere. In Kentucky, in red states, it has won big. So how people think that this is still not an issue, or that it's not something that is a top issue where people are going to vote, I think they're fooling themselves. And quite frankly, I'm happy that they believe that. Donald Trump put out a tweet today that said that he was going to be I'm paraphrasing, but he was going to be the best for women on reproductive rights. And of course, most people are like, what are you talking about? This is the same guy who said that there needs to be punishment for the woman when it comes to having an abortion. And from that point on, I know he's walked it back, and I know he's trying to just shape what he's supposed to say to not piss off women too much. But, that might have been a bridge too far, and that's a difficult one to come back from, because that's not just a stance on abortion. That is a really, really crazy stance that there's got to be punishment for the woman on abortion. But I was talking earlier about Donald Trump and Kamala Harris debating. There was a clip that they played during the DNC that was so really good. And forgive me, I still have this cold and I'm still battling it a little bit. So I took some Dayquil before the show and it started to wear off a little bit, but I'm battling through. I don't give a shit. But there was a clip that was played during the DNC that will give you a pretty good idea of how good Kamala Harris is when she has to be in a combative situation with somebody. And it turns out in these combative situations that she riles the other person up or she trips them up so badly, and she is so calm and cool. But this clip gives you an idea. And this is, by the way, how I got to know Kamala Harris. When she was in the Senate, and she was in these Senate hearings and she was questioning people during these Senate hearings, I remember thinking to myself, I couldn't wait until they called on her. She was the star in every one of these hearings because she was so good at it. And this clip is going to give you an idea of just how good she was.
Have you ever discussed Special Counsel Mueller or his investigation with anyone?
Could you repeat that question?
Has the president or anyone at the White House ever asked or suggested that you open an investigation of anyone? Yes or no, please, sir? Seems you would remember something like that.
I don't know.
Please answer the question.
Senator, I think I've answered the question.
No, you've not.
I'm not able to be rushed this fast. It makes me nervous.
Can you think of any laws that give government the power to make decisions about the male body?
I'm not thinking of any right now. Never mind.
Let's move on.
Okay.
That was a phenomenal clip, and they put it together really well. Now, some people are going to go, oh, you're just putting together the clips, or they're putting together the clips just to make her look good. Okay, fine. I would implore you to go back and watch the entire testimony of Brett Kavanaugh, of who Jeff Sessions was on there, Bill Barr, and I can't remember the other lady's name on there, but go back and watch the full entire testimony of each one of those and tell me that Kamala Harris did not come out on top on every single one of them. She dominated those things. And that's where, when she first ran for president, I remember thinking to myself, I can vote for her. She's really, really good. I think we've talked about it on this show, what happened, the history of everything. I think her biggest mistake was attacking Joe Biden in that first debate. She attacked him and she lost points. And even though Joe Biden at the time wasn't thought of as the main candidate and was going to ultimately win this thing, it took just a couple of states after the primaries. They got to South Carolina. James Clyburn came in and said, hey guys, we need to relax. Everybody stop. Joe Biden is the guy. We need to put this guy up against Donald Trump because as of right now, he is the only one that can beat him. And he was absolutely right. And then Joe Biden made the extremely wise decision. And again, we talk about the things that Joe Biden does that are just so you have to have an ego, right, to be the president of the United States, but to also to be able to control that ego and make the right moves for the country and for you. This was a guy who said, "You know what? I'm going to forget about the attack on me during that debate, and I'm going to make this woman the vice president of the United States." And why am I going to do that? Because she's that good. She's that good. And I'm going to put aside the petty stuff, and I am still going to nominate this woman. And then, of course, we get to the point now where he says, "I'm going to drop out of the race because this is what's best for the country." And you're always going to get a full-fledged argument with me if you say anything bad about Joe Biden. It's not happening. I was watching the Obama clips earlier, and I was thinking, if there were not terms, is it possible that Barack Obama would still be president to this day? And there's a very good possibility that he would be. But I'm glad there's terms, because it did give us Joe Biden. And I'm very happy that I was able to live through the Joe Biden presidency, who I thought was one of the best presidents of my lifetime. In fact, I think I've said already that I think just by the accomplishments alone and his decency and what he means to this country and what he did for this country, the best and most consequential president of my lifetime.